Hey plant fam! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jaclynn. This is my jungle, and if you're not new here, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you for still being here. And today I thought it would be really fun because it's like mid-year. I feel like we're a little bit more than halfway through the year to go back and look at my wish list for 2024 and see how many of the plants I've actually acquired and whether or not I still want the ones that I have not acquired. It's fine. The ones that I have not yet acquired and whether or not I still want them. So number one on my list for 2024 shouldn't be surprising because I think I went through a philodendron phase last year, very much now in my antherium era, if you can't tell. I was very much entering my antherium era at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024 when I made this list for sure, but I'm like full on in it now. I'm always going to love Hoya. Hoya's always going to be my favorite, don't get me wrong, but these guys just like, they're so good. But anyway, number one on my list was my favorite philodendron for a really long time, one of my favorite plants for a really long time, the philodendron Billy, but I wanted the variegated one. And no, I don't have it yet, but yes, I still want it, and I have seen the prices coming down, so maybe soon we will finally get one. But I don't want a cutting. I want like an established plant that has new growth and really consistent, beautiful variegation, because I'm just really terrified of spending money on this plant and having it revert. Because I've heard that happen to so many people, and that is so sad and scary at the same time. So I think it's just safer for me to wait. And I've just kind of been waiting, and I'm not gonna lie, I saw one recently, I think it was like Texas Plant Connection over on Palm Street was selling a really nice cutting that had new growth, and the variegation was gorgeous, and the price was not bad. And I was like, you cannot afford that right now because we're still playing catch up after the move and my car and all that fun stuff. But maybe, just maybe, before the end of the year, we can snag one. So philodendron variegated Billy is still on my list, and I would love to snag one. Let me know if you guys have snagged one yet in the comments below. Like I said, they're definitely becoming more available and the prices are coming down. They're just still pricey, but you're not going to be spending thousands anymore. You can definitely spend hundreds and still get a nice size little plant. So variegated Billy is still on my wish list, and I hope that we can get one soon. Number two on my wish list was the Monstera Burl Marks Flame. And yeah, I still want it. I'm still on the hunt. I'm just, again, waiting for the prices to come down to like a reasonable place on these, which they have if you want to get a small plant. The only issue with getting it as a small plant is that it is a very slow grower. So I am a very impatient plant mama, which is why I love antherium. They grow pretty quickly and size up pretty quickly. But I would rather buy one large and already mature and growing, so I don't have to wait 5 years for it to be big and beautiful and have the lovely fenestrations that we all love it for. So getting one big is still just a little bit out of my price range. So we're getting there though. Like I feel like we're definitely getting there, and it's the same thing with the variegated Billy. I feel like it's only a matter of time before the prices come down to some place where it is definitely doable and more reasonable for collectors who don't want to spend thousands on a plant when you're just afraid that it's gonna die, revert, or just grow really slowly and not be a good return on investment. Because like realistically, what am I gonna do with this expensive plant if I can't propagate it and make some of my money back fairly quickly. So that is why I don't have the Burl Marks Flame yet. I know there is a lovely human being out there who might be watching who wants to send me one, but obviously there is no pressure on that. And if I do ever get one in the mail, I might cry about it, but I'm not gonna complain about it. So I guess we'll just have to see. Either way, I do still want one. I do still plan on getting one eventually. It's just when I can afford it, because it is a personal plant and it's not really a business investment because it is a slow grower and it would be more just for me. So I can't really justify spending that much money on a plant that's just for me. Okay, so number 3 on my wish list for 2024 was anything sport variegated. I'm just always on the hunt for sport variegation, and I was really specifically looking for some really cool green on green stuff, and I have found some pretty cool green on green stuff this year. But I had to take this opportunity first to show you guys my sport variegated Monstera that we picked up from Lowe's. I don't think it was this year. I think it was the end of last year, or it had to have been like, they were outside, so it had to have been like springtime last year, right? I don't think I'm really bad at time, you guys, but I've had this for a while because I've repotted it. It's on a pole, it's been growing, and I just have to show it to you because the new leaf that came out, chef's kiss. And a lot of people had actually commented saying that this was probably just a low color albo, but I got this from Lowe's, and the company that grows these does not grow or sell Monstera albo, so there is no reason for them to just randomly have a low color albo that got mixed in with the green ones, which just reassures me that this is indeed a sport variegated plant. I just got lucky, and the sport variegation on this one is very, very white. So honestly kind of like more creamy, but this thing has gotten massive. There is one in here that's green and one that is variegated. So you can see some of the older leaves have the white stripes on them there, but this new leaf came out recently and she's just like, bam, bam. Like, excuse me? This literally looks like a Monstera albo at this point in time, and I love it. But like I said, I got this at Lowe's, and it was just one of their regular green Monstera, and I happened to notice this little chunk of white on this leaf right here from a distance. That's how long I've had it for. It had to have been last year. I didn't go back to look, but I just wanted to use this as an excuse to show you my sport variegated. It even has like some marbly stuff, like a ton of marbly stuff going on over here. It's like on the back of the leaf over here too, so you can't even see it all on camera. But it's super marbly up in this part of the leaf, and then you've got this big sectoral chunk. Like, excuse me, who are you showing off for? So had to show you her. This is her green sister that lives in the pot with her. She put out another new leaf recently too over here, but she's just as beautiful even in green. We love a Monstera, so I do have them just living in the pot together because that's how they came, just to keep her looking more full for now. And as she continues to get bigger and bigger, I will probably separate them and, I don't know, maybe not keep the green one. I genuinely don't know. But, I mean, it's a beautiful plant, even if it is just the regular green one. It just depends on if we have space for it, because your girl has like 7 albos and like 5 or 6 Tycons, a couple of Orias. So, but again, I just had to show you this sport variegated find because she's gorgeous. But a more recent find is this Alocasia cuculata, green on green variegated. So it's probably going to be really hard to pick up on camera because it is super subtle, but you can see the green on green variegation on this plant. It's pretty consistent on every leaf, and it's even more vibrant like when the leaf is new and it kind of just like mellows out over time, but there are some really beautiful leaves on this plant with some really beautiful green on green variegation. So not the most exciting variegation in the world, but it is variegation and it is a really pretty plant in my personal opinion. I have a little baby coming in down here. That's super variegated as well. I'll separate her out from the pot eventually when she gets a little bit bigger. I did snag this one from Proven Winners at like Home Depot or something for like 30 bucks, $29.98. And I'm not mad about it. So I have found some green on green stuff. I have found some sport stuff. Of course, I'm still looking for other sport variegated plants. I'm always looking for sport variegated plants, especially in the big box store. It keeps it fun. It keeps it interesting while I'm out there looking at the same plants over and over again. But yeah, I'm happy to say that I have found some sport variegated plants so far this year, and we're gonna keep on looking and see what else we can find. Okay, so the next two on my list are definitely a testament to how much I predicted that I was gonna get into antherium, but I also did not know much about the different types when I made this list. I just chose two that I knew were like a little bit darker and longer and not crystallinum with the veining. That's a Bessier, it's not crystal, but you can see a lot of the antherium can kind of start to look the same when it has that veining. So I really wanted to snag an antherium papillaminum. We just call it pap. Antherium pap, some people say pappy. I did snag this little guy from, I forget who, but it is a Cartel Duan cross, and it is a Fort Sherman X pap crossed with itself. So it is Fort Sherman is a pap, so it is a pap crossed with another pap. So I can definitely scratch this one off the list and say that I snagged it, because I mean, I think this is a pretty good example of what a pap looks like, and I really love this one. It is working on a new leaf here, and she's super cute. So I knew that I definitely wanted more pap in my life. I do love pap. It's one of my favorites, and there was a pretty good variety across all the different types of papillaminum. So yeah, I feel like I can confidently say that I did snag myself a pap. This is an older leaf here, starting to get a little bit discolored, but this is the newest one out in my care since I repotted it as well. So I did repot her recently. Antherium pap. Checked off the list. So then if this one was number 4, then number 5 was the antherium Ace of Spades. And bless my sweet little heart, at the time I did not know how expensive a pure antherium Ace of Spades, especially a dark form, which is what I would want, is. Even as a small plant, it's expensive. It's very expensive. But I also mentioned in that video that I would want a hybrid of the two, a pap Ace of Spades hybrid. So I may not have gotten myself an Ace of Spades, but my favorite antherium in my collection lives right behind me, so you don't even really get to see her. She is a hybrid of the two. And this is my antherium papillaminum Woo 6. So this is from Woohoo Tropicals, crossed with Ace of Spades dark form. So there's the tag there for you guys if you want to take a screen grab of it. But this is my favorite antherium in my collection because it is a pap crossed with an Ace of Spades, and it is the darkest one that I have in my collection. Like, do you see this leaf? This is the older, more hardened off leaf that it gave me like not even a month ago. I repotted her and she immediately has given me this one. This leaf is not hardened off yet, so I'm just being very careful not to touch it. It does still have like a more maroonish tint to it. You can even see on the back of the leaf because it is still hardening off, but when it does harden off, it does get a lot more black. So absolutely love this one, and I feel like I can confidently check this off of my list that I snagged a really stunning Ace of Spades dark form hybrid, and the fact that it's got the pap in there just helps give it that shape that I really love. And this is just my favorite plant in my collection right now. Probably I'm trying to train her leaves to all face the same direction, but we're figuring it out. But again, this is my antherium papillaminum Woo 6 from Woohoo Tropicals crossed with Ace of Spades dark form, and I am obsessed with her. So I may not have gotten the Ace of Spades yet. I would love one eventually when I can afford it, but I feel like this is definitely the next best thing, and I am obsessed with this hybrid. You will know if you follow me on any of their socials that I do post her quite a bit. I love her. I cannot wait for her to get big. I cannot wait for her to flower, because I would love to self this. I would love to cross this with something else that's super dark, like this Bessier, and see what we can get. Okay, so number 6 on my wish list for 2024 was the Mikin Ora, and I am happy to say that I did snag her. So I snagged this one from Texas Plant Connection, and I did recently just propagate her, so she's looking pretty small, but I wanted to show you how beautiful her genetics are. If it would focus. Look at that leaf. Oh, she's so pretty. So we can check this one off the list at number 6. We got our philodendron Mikin Ora variegated. Look at how nice and marbly. I had to snag this one. I was honestly just waiting for the right one with the right color, and it did have a nice long vine on it, so I was able to propagate it, and I am propping those now, so they will be for sale hopefully in the next like month or so when they're ready to go. But I absolutely love this one, and I am going to repot it soon. It is just in moss perlite, but I want to get her going up a pole for sure, and I am determined to not be irritated by this plant, because I do tend to get irritated with the Mikins and plants that grow similar to it. But if we can get her on a pole, I think it's going to be fine. And I actually just noticed that she's already working on a new little growth nubby right there. You see that little green nub sticking out? So hopefully we'll get a nice new vine with lots of beautiful variegation on her. And philodendron Mikin Ora variegated. Okay, so number 7 on my list of plants that I wanted to snag this year is a variegated bird of paradise. And even though I have not found one, I am still very, very envious of my friends over at the Plant Ward, Matt and Kayla, who have an absolutely gorgeous variegated bird of paradise that at least I get to go and visit, right? Like I get to go and see it and look at it and be in its presence. But regardless, I am still always on the hunt for a sport variegated one, just a variegated one in general. Nobody seems to sell them. So yeah, variegated bird of paradise is number 7, and it's going to remain number 7. And if I don't get one this year, it's just going to roll on over to my wish list for next year. Number 8 on my wish list for 2024 was the Marble Queen Pothos on a totem, already large. And you guys know, because I talk about it in like all my plant shopping videos, and especially while we were down in Tennessee, because we kept on seeing golden pothos and neon pothos on poles and no Marble Queen, and I was like, ah. And then somebody commented and let me know that Succulents Empire had them for sale, and literally at the same exact time that I happened to read that comment, they were live on Palm Street. So I hopped in and I was like, hey, heard you guys had Marble Queen on like a totem. And they were like, we don't have any left. And I was like, crap. And then she was like, hold up, wait, no, we have one more. So I don't have it yet because it hasn't been shipped to me yet. But I did buy one, and it's not super big, but it is already on a totem. It is already working its way up a pole, so I'm hoping that it's at least going to be a head start. Now, don't get me wrong. If I do find like a massive one, I will still buy a massive one if mine takes forever to get massive. But I think it's definitely a better starting off point than just buying like a small one from the big box store. So obviously I will unbox it with you guys when I get it. but I feel like we can check that one like kind of off of the list. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily like the giant totem that I was looking for, but it was affordable and it is like probably a good start. So we're gonna like kind of count it. Okay, so number 9 on my wish list was the only Hoya. It was the only Hoya that I put on my wish list because I've been super picky about Hoya lately that I will buy. But if you know me, you know that my Hoya Gungging is one of my favorite Hoya, one of my favorite plants in my collection, just period. So when I saw a couple years back that there was a silver version, you better believe that I put that girl on my wish list. I put her on my wish list so fast, it would have given you whiplash. So I absolutely will spend money on this plant. I just have not had the right opportunity to do so. I know people have them. I know that they're definitely floating around in the market. It just hasn't been like the right place, the right plant at the right time for me yet. But I definitely plan on snagging one before the year is up. So hopefully when we do this video again at the end of the year, we'll do like an end of the year check-in, and then we'll do our updated list for next year. But I thought it would be fun like to do a halfway point check-in and see where we're at. So obviously, yes, I still want this plant. I haven't changed my mind on it. I just haven't found the right one yet. So, but we will get it. It's gorgeous and I need it, and I feel like I'm confident enough to snag this one. Like I remember saying in my original wish list video that the Gungging is really hardy. I have never had a hard time growing that plant, so I do feel more confident spending money on the silver version because I feel like it's not going to be a difficult plant. You know, I'm really hesitant with certain Hoya that I don't have experience with and spending a lot of money on them because sometimes they just don't do well. And then it's very sad for me and for my wallet. So number 9 is the Hoya Gungging Ghost. A lot of people are calling it now. It used to just be called silver, but now it's being called Gungging Ghost or GGG, which is really confusing, but hopefully that can help if you've ever seen somebody say that and you didn't know what they were talking about, because at first I was like, what the heck is GGG? I genuinely had no idea. So that is number 9 on my list, and yes, I still want it. Number 10, the final plant on my wish list from 2024 was the Philodendron Atabapoense Variegated, and this is another one that I've been seeing pop up like definitely more in live sales and stuff like that. So I feel like there's gonna be opportunities for me to get it. I just don't have the money right now to be snagging it, but I feel like there is definitely a lot of potential for me to have this plant in my possession before the year is up. But even though I have not snagged that variegated philodendron, at the time that I made this list, I was not aware of a couple of other variegated philodendron that were about to hit the market or were new on the market that I have snagged, and just for funsies, I thought that I would show you guys those. The first one that I wanted to show you is my variegated philodendron Silver Sword. She is in desperate need of a repot and a pole. We will definitely do that soon, but I wanted to show you her because I didn't have her on my wish list, but I feel like if I knew that she was attainable, I would have put her on my wish list. I'm not even sure that I knew she existed at the time that I made the wish list, but this has very quickly become one of my favorite plants in my collection, so I wanted to show her to you. Another plant that's newer to the market this year that I just did not know about at the time of making this list is the green nuclear, or green, what is it called? Yeah, green nuclear, philodendron nuclear. And I think this is an absolutely stunning philodendron arabescens variety with this really beautiful yellowy variegation. And I think that if I had known about this plant at the time of making the list, that I probably would have added it on there. So I need to repot her as well. She's in a way too small of a pot for this plant, but I had to show you guys a couple of those. And then last but not least is the Philodendron Orange Princess. And I probably would have laughed at the thought of this not long ago because I'm like, how is it different? I feel like there's so many like Philodendron Princess, Pink Princess, Black Cherry, Pink Princess, Marble, Thai, whatever, and Golden Dust. And there's just too many. and they all looked the same to me. So I kind of rolled my eyes at the idea of an orange princess until I saw it. I saw her, I thought I would hate her, but I actually love her, and I think she's really pretty. She's still super small, and there's a bunch of plants in this pot. 1 or 2 of them are not variegated, so I need to separate them out. But I feel like I did get some really nice variegated philodendron, even though I haven't gotten the Adabap yet. So it is still one of my favorite philodendron in my collection, the regular Adabap. So yeah, I want the variegated one. I feel like I want to replace my green one with the variegated one, but I have acquired some other really beautiful variegated philodendron that I didn't really know existed when I made this list. So I just thought it would be fun to show you guys a few. So that's really it, fam. That is a little mid-year update on my 2024 wish list plants. Let me know if you guys have snagged any of your wish list plants yet this year, or if you're looking to snag any very, very soon. Definitely don't sleep on the Palm Street app, you guys. I will leave it linked down below for you. I have gotten so many good deals. So many good deals, honestly. It's like kind of tanking the market, which is good for you, bad for sellers, but good for you as a buyer. So don't sleep on it. I promise you, you're gonna regret it if you don't download the app and check it out, especially if you're actively collecting and actively buying. Obviously, if you're like on a plant ban, I don't recommend it because it's very addicting. Like the amount of times I get on there and I'm like, I'm not gonna spend money, and then I walk away spending like $200, and I'm like, how did we get here? But I justify it because they're such good deals, and they're plants that I probably would have bought anyway, and I'm getting them for a way better price. So don't sleep on Palm Street. If you use my link, you get coupons, you get free shipping on like your first few orders. Like, you get a lot of benefits from using my link and my code, so don't sleep on it. I tried to tell you, okay? Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun filming it for you. If you did, you should definitely give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. Leave me a comment down below. Leave me some purple emojis. I like the color purple. You can leave me some purple emojis. Leave me some mushrooms even, because very clearly I have a thing for mushrooms. I even put them on my body. I also picked up these cute little, you guys, sidebar, is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your entire life? So leave me some cute little mushroom emojis, some purple emojis, anything cute and sparkly will make me happy in the comments below. It helps with the algorithm, it helps with the engagement, and it ultimately helps me out a lot. So I love you guys so very much. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are out there in the world. Don't forget to spread kindness. Don't forget to drink your water, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!